You have been talking to the universe your entire life, every single day, every hour, every moment you've been awake, and even the ones you haven't. The problem is not that the universe isn't listening. The problem is that you have no idea what you've been saying. Right now, somewhere in your mind, there is a broadcast running. A frequency being transmitted 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with no days off, no holidays, no sleep. And that broadcast is being received, responded to, reflected back into your life in the form of everything you have and everything you keep failing to get. Most people spend their entire lives trying to change the channel without ever learning how the radio works. This video is about learning how the radio works. Let me be honest with you about something that might bother you. People talk about manifestation like it's a spiritual trend, a hashtag, something you do by writing in a journal with gold ink while drinking herbal tea. And because of that, millions of people dismiss it and miss something that the most ancient minds in human history understood as fundamental law. The Greek philosophers used visualization and contemplation as daily practice. The Eastern masters manifested through meditation. Medieval alchemists worked with energy and transmutation. Shamans across cultures communicated with invisible forces of nature. The mystics of every tradition, every single one, applied the same universal principles. They weren't delusional. They were observant. They watched the world carefully enough to notice something that most modern people, drowning in notifications and noise, have stopped seeing. Reality responds to laws, clear, consistent, learnable laws. And if you understand those laws, if you actually learn to play the game, you can have whatever you want. But here is what's changed. Your grandparents lived in a world where the signal was clear. Stable communities, lifelong work, quiet minds. Your world is different. Right now, more than 1,000 companies are in an active war for your attention. The speed of change has gone from decades to months. The mental noise has multiplied beyond anything any previous generation had to navigate. Your grandparents didn't need a technique. They had space. You don't have space. You need a technique. And that is exactly what I'm going to give you today. But first, one principle. Because without this, the 5 steps are just clever words. The universe does not speak Portuguese. It doesn't speak English or Mandarin or any human language. The universe reads one thing and one thing only: your vibrational reactions, your emotional responses, the energetic signature of what you are consistently giving your attention to. Here is the law you need to tattoo on the inside of your mind. Whatever you give your attention to expands. Not because the universe is judging whether it is good or bad for you, but because your attention is an amplification signal. You focus on something, the universe responds. More of this. You ignore something, it disappears from your experiential reality. Thoughts are empty vessels. They only vibrate when you energize them with attention. This means something disturbing. If you spend most of your day focused on what you lack, the debt, the problem, the person who hurt you, the thing you're afraid of losing, you are not being realistic. You are placing an order, and the universe is a very efficient fulfillment center. Now, the 5 steps. Step 1. Master your attention. 2 people walk into the same party, same room, same people, same music. Person A leaves saying, "Everyone was judging me, it was awful." Person B leaves saying, "I met incredible people, it was amazing." Same party. 2 completely different universes, created entirely by selective attention. You have filters running in your brain right now. Neuroscience calls them perceptual filters. You are deleting 99% of the information available to you, distorting what remains to fit your existing beliefs, and generalizing from specific experiences into permanent seeming patterns. You are not seeing reality. You are seeing your story about reality. And here is where most people go wrong when it comes to goals. Someone deeply in debt sits down to manifest financial freedom. And what do they focus on? The debt. I want to pay off my debt. I want to stop struggling. I want to get out of this. Every single one of those statements is focused on the problem. And the universe, your attentional frequency, amplifies what you focus on, not what you intend. The focus can never be on escaping the problem. The focus must always be on building the thing you actually want. Growth, expansion, freedom, prosperity. When you focus on that, genuinely, energetically, with full attention, the debt gets paid. Not because you focused on the debt, because you became the kind of person who has the thing that makes debt irrelevant. Becoming the master of your attention is the beginning of everything. It doubles your creative power before you change a single other thing. Step 2. Think and speak in the present. The universe only recognizes now. The past is a ghost. The future is a hypothesis. The only place where creation actually happens is the present moment. And the language trap that destroys most people's ability to manifest is one of the most subtle things I've ever encountered. When you say, "I will be successful," the universe hears, "I do not have success right now. Please keep it away from me until later." "I will" is the linguistic address of absence. You are telling reality, this belongs in the future, not here. The shift is radical in its simplicity. You stop reaching towards something and start inhabiting it. You feel what it feels like to already have it, not as a fantasy, as a lived, embodied, emotionally real experience happening in this moment. Everything that can happen to you, every possibility, every version of your life, already exists somewhere in the field of potential. Manifestation is not creation from nothing. It is alignment. It is tuning your frequency to the channel that already exists and stepping into it. What does it feel like in your body to have already achieved what you want? What sounds do you hear? What do you see around you? What emotion is running through you in that moment? That specificity, that embodied, sensory, emotionally charged, present tense experience. That is the language the universe actually hears. Step 3. Communicate intentionally. There are 3 kinds of communication that most people collapse into one. There is interpersonal communication, how you speak to others. There is intrapersonal communication, how you speak to yourself. And there is cosmic communication, how you speak to the field. Most people are running all 3 on autopilot. They complain to friends, rehearse, worries in their heads and send chaos into the field, all without ever noticing what they're doing. I want to ask you something, and I want you to sit with it. When you talk to yourself, the constant, unfiltered stream of internal commentary that runs from the moment you wake up, is that voice expanding you or contracting you? Is it telling you what's possible or cataloging what's wrong? What are you broadcasting into the field every single day? Because you are always communicating with the universe. The question is never whether you're doing it. The question is whether you are doing it consciously or by accident. Intentional communication means you choose. You filter what comes out of your mouth about your life, your future, your possibilities. Not out of denial. You don't pretend problems don't exist. But you stop narrating your limitations as if they were permanent facts. You stop saying, "I can't afford it," and start saying, "I'm becoming the person who can." You stop saying, "This always happens to me," and start asking, "What is this trying to show me?" This is not positive thinking. This is precision. Every word you speak with emotion behind it is a direct instruction to your subconscious. And through your subconscious, to the field. Choose your words like you choose your investments. Step 4. Listen to your internal guidance system. The universe speaks back. Most people just can't hear it because they've been taught to trust only logic. Your internal guidance system is not your thoughts. It is your feelings. When you stand at a crossroads, two options, two possible directions, the analytical mind will build cases for both sides. It will run probability calculations and list pros and cons and remind you of every time a similar choice went wrong. It is very busy, very convincing, and very often wrong about the things that matter most. The guidance system that actually knows is deeper than that. Take the first option. Fully immerse in it. Close your eyes and step into that version of your life. Feel it in your body. What happens? Does something open? Do you feel a lightness, an aliveness, a sense of being pulled forward? Or does something close? Does a tightness appear? A flatness, a heaviness, a subtle sense of dread dressed up as logic? Now do the same with the second option. The option that creates genuine enthusiasm, not the excitement of escape, but the aliveness of alignment. That is the one connected to your actual path. The challenge is learning to distinguish between the ego's voice and the voice of essence. The ego speaks in fear. It tries to maximize pleasure and avoid pain. It sounds urgent. It builds convincing arguments. It says, "Who do you think you are? What if you fail? What will people think?" Your essence is quieter. It doesn't argue. It simply knows. Learn to hear the difference, because one of those voices is you navigating by fear. The other is the universe speaking directly into your chest. Step 5. The power of repetition. Your subconscious mind is the mirror of the universe. The law of attraction does not primarily operate through conscious thought. It operates through the subconscious, through the deep patterns, beliefs, and emotional programs that run below the surface of your awareness. And your subconscious has one fundamental operating principle. It amplifies whatever receives the most repetition. It does not distinguish between imagination and reality. It cannot tell the difference between a memory and a vivid visualization. It processes both as equally real. This means that every repeated thought is a deposit. Every repeated phrase you speak to yourself is a deposit, and the account your subconscious manages will produce results that are perfectly consistent with whatever you've been depositing, positive or negative, by accident or by design. I had a friend once, the most spectacularly unlucky person I had ever met. New car, wheels stolen within a week, had them replaced, parked in the garage, flooded in a freak storm, total loss. Called the insurance company, phone screen cracked face down on the pavement mid-call. His story about himself? Constant, automatic, deeply believed. I'm always unlucky. Everything bad happens to me. And the subconscious listened perfectly. It fulfilled the order every time. Then he studied the neuroscience of language. He understood what he had been doing. He changed one thing. His repetition, his new pattern, became, "Everything is working out for me. I am guided and protected." At first, the external reality didn't change immediately. There were still some reverberations of the old pattern. But when something negative happened, instead of feeding the old story, he reframed it. "This is being cleared from my path. Something better is coming." Within months, his business, which had been dying, began to thrive. Not because he worked harder, because the signal he was sending had fundamentally changed. Repetition is not about mindlessly reciting words. It is about genuinely feeling what you are saying. Emotion is the fuel. Belief is the engine. Repetition is the road. And the more consistently you walk that road, the faster the universe responds. Let me bring it all together, because none of these steps work in isolation. They are one system. You master your attention, choosing what to amplify, refusing to give energy to what contracts you. You speak and think in the present, inhabiting the reality you want, as if it already exists, because in the field of potential, it does. You communicate intentionally, filtering every word to yourself, to others, to the universe, with the precision of someone who understands that language is instruction. You listen to your internal guidance, learning to hear the signal beneath the noise, the aliveness that points toward your actual path. And you repeat, consciously, deliberately, emotionally, until the new pattern becomes the dominant frequency of your subconscious mind. The universe is not somewhere outside of you sending responses down from above. The universe is you in conversation with yourself, through the language of energy, filtered through your perception, shaped by repetition, directed by your attention. You have always been in the conversation, every single day of your life. The only question is, have you been speaking on purpose? Starting now, you can. If this opened something in you today, drop a comment below. Tell me, which of these 5 steps is the one you've been missing? I read every single one, and sometimes the answer you put into words is the beginning of everything.